Well, everyone, we are back with the height lock of Pokemon Sun. And as you might have guessed, based on the lack of gameplay on the screen right now, we're taking a minute to do some strategizing. Or more specifically, to walk through approximately what I think we're going to try today, because the trouble is there's just a lot of uncertainty in this run, and about the best I can manage at any given point is trying to come up with a strategy that should work. So, let's talk about the two big fights that I anticipate going through today while we prep. The two big fights that I anticipate going through today based on where we are in the game. And give me just a sec to double check this. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So, if y'all recall, last time we left off after getting our Route 11 encounter and then making our way up to Hokalani Observatory. However, we did not manage to get Minior, which is really annoying because Minior would actually be very helpful in the upcoming Totem fight. Now, with that said, prior to even getting to the Totem fight, we actually have one other very big challenge, which is a battle with Molayne and his team of Steel types. Now, as y'all may recall, Steel types are a problem for us. We've got a lot of Fairy types on the team, a good number of Rock types, and the only Fire type we have is Litten. The only Ground types we have are a Diglett and a Barboach, and he has a really strong matchup into fighting types thanks to having a flying type and a fairly strong psychic type on his team. So, this fight becomes more difficult. At present, what I've got planned out, and yes, I did have to write this down because my brain was getting tired trying to figure it out. What I've got planned out involves mostly defensive counterplay. We've got 3 Pokemon to deal with. We don't have one Pokemon that can deal with all 3. And we need to plan around different things with each of them. Now, if we take a look at this paste bin, ignore the ads, I'm sorry, I should probably install an ad blocker for stuff like this, but anyway. When we deal with it, so for Molayne, it's important to note how he's trained up the different Pokemon on his team. Skarmory's main investments are in defense, special defense, and speed, meaning it's a speedy defensive Pokemon. And it's fully invested EV-wise in both defense and special defense. That means it takes moves, however, it's a Skarmory, it doesn't hit that hard. So, defensive counterplay and careful chip with Pokemon that don't have too much to fear from its moveset is more or less the way to go. We can even double check here and look at Skarmory's base stats. 80 attack, 40 special attack. If we go in there with a Steel type resist, it's most likely going to focus on Air Cutter as its move, which is coming off of its 40 base special attack. Very manageable. Skarmory is the least worrisome one though, because after that, we have to deal with either his bulky Metang, which has probably the best coverage on the team in the form of Zen Headbutt, a physical stab that pairs surprisingly well with its Steel-type moves. And then there's Dugtrio, which is fast, hits hard, carries priority, and has really good coverage between Metal Claw and Mud Bomb. The only advantage that we really have in that fight is that Mud Bomb will be extremely weak coming off of a base 50 special attack stat. So, between the three, I'm generally most worried about Metang, because Dugtrio can actually be cheesed. Mainly by taking advantage of Sucker Punch as one of its main move options. The way this will work is if we send in a Pokemon that baits Sucker Punch, then we can get a free switch out to something else that will bait another move, and we can potentially work on stalling this thing out or getting into a spot where we can set up. Our water types are probably going to be our best friends here, especially because they not only resist Dugtrio's main stab, but they also resist Bullet Punch. Now, of course, that does leave the issue of Zen Headbutt. However, as it's a Psychic type move, as long as we can keep a Dark type in circulation, then we should be clear to deal with at that point we should be clear to deal with the Metang once it's out of Zen Headbutts. So while I plan some fairly straightforward counterplay into the Dugtrio, depending on how much bulk we're still carrying by the time it comes out, our main plan with Metang is going to be stalling it out of Zen Headbutts, so we can have one of our water types come in and wall it. Luckily, we have a couple of good bulky water types, which helps here. So, let's fire up the game and I'll show you which Pokemon... Oh heck, I just realized there's something I forgot to do. We're gonna restart this. So, let's fire up the game and I will show you the team that I plan to go into the Molayne fight with. This will be our first stage of today. And let's make fast switches happen. Oh, where'd you go? Alright, where are you hiding? There you are. This team of 6 is what I've come up with that seems to have the best counterplay into Molayne with minimal risk. Assuming I'm right about how this will work out. Now obviously I need to level some of them, that'll only take a minute. Here's what it boils down to. We lead with Suspender, who can do some decent chip into Skarmory, and with a Violite should be able to take a lot of punishment while getting things ready. Now, Suspender might not actually finish off Skarmory, especially because Molayne can heal during this. Molayne does heal a couple of times during this fight, but hopefully, if he heals, it is on Skarmory because it's the easiest Pokemon to deal with. Now, either Suspender takes Skarmory down, or... hold up, let's reposition this so you can see them a bit bigger. Either Suspender takes Skarmory down, or it uses Volt Switch, which we have the TM for, to switch in someone else. Probably Swim Shorts. Now, Swim Shorts does pretty well into this matchup, just because Water resists Steel and Swim Shorts hits very strong and primarily from the special side. Which means he will be able to clean up Skarmory if needed. Otherwise, if Charjabug winds up finishing off Skarmory, we'll do our best to wrap it up with a Volt Switch in order to bring in someone that will ideally bait in... Actually, I think the only one that we really can bait in is the Diglett, since it'll be carrying ground-type coverage. In that case, we send in Scalloped, who will bait in the Diglett, the Dugtrio, sorry. And we will immediately start a bit of a pivoting game to stall it, to use Drawstring to stall it out of its Sucker Punch PP. Now, this is a little bit dangerous. We're probably going to replace Thunder Wave with Protect to make this a bit safer. And we may even drop Protect onto Scalloped in order to work simultaneously on stalling that thing out of its Mud Bomb PP. So if we can double down there, then we have a pretty good chance. Now, the challenge with that is that against Scalloped, there is, I think, a chance that it goes for Metal Claw as opposed to Mud Bomb. Now, with all of that said, let's talk about strategy for the other two, for the Metagross. And that is where this little rat here comes in. See, Boy Shorts is going to have the role of switching in repeatedly on what should be predicted Zen Headbutts. Paired with Bermuda the Mewtwo. Bermuda has a lot of physical bulk and is fully physically invested. Pair that with Leftovers and Protect for stalling, and we can deal with a lot of abuse without having to worry too much about the amount of actual damage that Metang is dealing. That should make it easy, and Bermuda has the nice advantage of baiting Zen Headbutt, as it should consistently be the strongest move that Metang is carrying, which will give us safe switches into Boy Shorts. By switching back and forth between those two, we should be able to stall it out of its moves, allowing us to safely bring in Swim Shorts to wrap it up. In a lot of these scenarios, Swim Shorts comes in at some point to wrap things up. Because, yeah, in case you didn't notice, our only offensive Pokemon is Swim Shorts. So, with all of that taken into account, we have a pretty reasonable setup into Moraine, as long as we're smart about how we handle the match. And the only things that we really need to worry about for this, we need to make sure that Drawstring doesn't overlevel, because I think more than likely we're going to be taking Drawstring with us into the Vikavolt Totem fight as well for pivoting purposes. So, just like that, I am Blurry, and we should be ready to go. Well, not quite ready. We have to get the right movesets on them. Movesets are something that we're going to be dealing with a lot throughout this whole thing. So like I've mentioned before, we are stuck with our level up moveset and our TMs for most of this run. Gonna drop Crunch for Volt Switch because, frankly, Suspender is not an offensively focused Pokemon. It just seems like the better option. And I did go in and add in the newest farmable items that we have access to. So now let's figure out our movesets. So, going down the list, Suspender already has the correct moveset. Wishy-Washy has most of the correct moveset, but I believe he has room... Swim Shorts, sorry. I believe Swim Shorts has room for Protect. As do a good number of our Pokemon. Yeah, Hidden Power won't be useful for coverage into a fight where everything resists or is neutral to grass, especially since nothing resists water in this fight. Scalloped can go ahead and learn Protect as well, as can Drawstring. Now Drawstring we aren't planning to use in any sort of offensive capacity, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about any move other than Protect. And do we have room on Boy Shorts for Protect as well? Yes, actually. We're going to go ahead and drop Hyper Fang for that. So at this point, the only thing we're ever using Boy Shorts for is pivoting into Psychic-type moves that we have no other counterplay for. So that's fun. Okay, let's double check all of their move sets. Okay, Suspender, you're good. Drawstring has... You know what? I think we'll want to keep it like this for a moment longer at least, just so y'all can see. Drawstring has everything that I would expect. Protect and Stockpile are the important ones. Hex might come into play, I guess, but it's unlikely. Taunt, Safeguard, Protect, and Counter. Yeah, that should be fine. The only offensive move that we'd even consider using with Bermuda is Counter. And, well, it's not like there are many options. And this team doesn't throw around any status, so I don't know if we have anything else important. We could replace Safeguard with something pretty easily since we have the TM for that. I think we might have the TM for Taunt, but don't quote me on that. Scald, Recover, Protect, Refresh. Out of all of those, Refresh is the most easily replaceable. So we'll see what happens when we level Scalloped up. Protect and some potential Dark coverage and Super Fang. Scald, Tearful Look, Aqua Ring, Protect. That all looks good moveset wise. I just want to skim through what our other options are for Bermuda. Confide isn't useful in this scenario. You know what? Reflect is more useful than Safeguard into this battle. If we absolutely need to, we can set it up to help us with our tanking. Come to think of it, I'm pretty tempted with Rest. Do we have the TM for Taunt? We don't. You know what? Let's give Bermuda some staying power. What's Scalloped's hidden power type? I can't actually recall. Bug. Yeah, none of our hidden power types are good this run. Welcome to the stream, Lastborn. We are doing some planning before the Molayne fight because, frankly, it frightens me. Psychic, no. Reflect could come up, but I don't think it's really necessary here. We've got Recover for reliable recovery. Yeah, no, I think we're going to stick with this moveset for the moment. Okay, let's hand out the leftovers. So there are a decent number of Pokemon on the team that will want leftovers on. Suspender, we're going to be swapping your item for a Violite. That's actually, it's a bit of a question. You know what, since we gave it Protect, we'll go ahead and give it a Leftovers as well. And I have fully trained Boy Shorts now in physical defense. Okay, these 6 Pokemon should be up to the task. Now we're just going to level them up a little bit here. Gonna take them all to level 28. That should be safe enough. Curse, no. Don't have a reason to boost our attack. It's a no on ancient power. Definitely a no on spike cannon. Lucky chance is actually worth it. Okay, that's all of them up to the proper level. I want to double check something. Okay, I'm just double checking that they have investment where I planned for them to have it. Alright, I'm fairly certain that we are ready to deal with Molayne. Let's double check our items. Let's go for it. We are leading with Suspender. Should be good to go. So they're going for Metal Claw. I guess that means that coming off of its stronger offensive stat, Metal Claw has the higher damage. Even though it's resisted. Okay. He uses a full heal. If we're lucky, we can get another paralysis. But we should at least be able to waste his potion here. Yep, okay, there we go. So that's his potion gone. Gonna Volt Switch. This thing has a lot less special defense than it has physical, so this might kill. Yes, okay. Now our switch happens first, so we send out Scalloped, hoping to bait in Doug Trio. Okay, we did that. Protect. Okay, he's going for Metal Claw even though Mud Bomb is super effective. So... gotta shake up our strategy. Okay, that's 2 Mud Bombs down. Draw a string, you're in. It's 2 Mud Bombs and 1 Sucker Punch. Two Sucker Punches. Somehow he knew to go for Metal Claw there. Yeah, see, the AI is just not reliable here, which makes these fights so much more frightening. Consistent AI is a lot easier to deal with than random stupid AI because I can only really plan around the AI making smart decisions. I'm gonna switch back into Scalloped. And I stopped counting, so that's not great. It might be smartest here just to go ahead and try to get a quicker kill rather than dance around his AI. Oh, burned. That's very helpful. So we'll probably go ahead and just stall him out with Protect and Recover. It won't go down to this upcoming turn of Burn. Which gives us enough time to set up a Lucky Chant. Now, for some reason, all of a sudden, he's actually going for Mud Bomb. Like, why? Welcome to the stream, Rafkin. I'm sorry, I'm suffering through this AI being stupid and annoyingly inconsistent. Okay, now since they can't crit, I am going to scout the damage on this thing. Zen Headbutt should be about twice as strong as anything else that he's using. Being crit proof, we can definitely afford to try another Scald here. Dang it, I'd really like to get a burn on this thing. That would make it so much easier to deal with. Really? How's there been no burn? That's 3 hits of Scald. I mean, statistically speaking, it's not that off, but still. We've got enough durability in the back of the team that even if we get flinch crit at the wrong time, we should be fine. There's the flinch. Set up a lucky chant. We're taking this nice and slow and careful. I have no desire to bother with anything that would put my team at risk. We're already looking at potentially like 2 or 3 deliberate sacrifices today. Come on! Where is the burn? It's okay, he would need multiple back-to-back flinches to win this, to break through Corsola, and even then he doesn't have enough damaging moves to get through our entire team. There's just no logic to these guys' AI. Alright, well, that was Molayne, the easier of the 2 fights that I've been panicked about since last stream. And now we get to plan for the other fight that is terrifying me. Welcome to Hokulani Observatory's Totem Battle against Totem Vikavolt. And I am going to get something pulled up real quick. So, let's talk through what it's going to take to get through Totem Vikavolt. Now, last time, if y'all recall, I made a plan around potentially sacrificing my starter, Litten, in order to deal with, in order to give a safe shot to our Salandit for a potential fire move, a potential Fire Z move for the Killing Blow. You may notice that we did not come across a Salandit in this run, which means we're going to have to plan around potentially sacrificing Litten for a different reason. And I feel really bad saying that, because this is our starter, and I shouldn't be this willing to sacrifice it. But as far as I can see, this is the smart play. Like, 100%, not even a question. This Totem Vikavolt needs to take some chip before we deal with it with anyone else. And moreover, we want to be going in at full health with something that can open the battle strong, and that means we need something that's prepared to take out all 3 of the trial Pokemon prior to that. Now, looking at our Litten, we are fairly I've already redone its EVs. I've given it some defense investment, as well as just enough speed investment to outspeed a +1 Vikavolt, as calculated here. Let's see, there you are. Litten, level 29, can afford 74 EVs there. So, if we notice over here, I've got Totem Vikavolt, which comes with +1 to every stat. Otherwise, it wouldn't even be a question about outspeeding it, because Vikavolt is slow. So, at +1 speed, assuming max speed, it should be running 61. It should be up to 61 at max. Which means that if we've statted our Litten to be at 62, then we're in the clear as far as outspeeding there. And our strategy going into this is pretty straightforward. Turn 1, we use Flame Charge to basically just to chunk away its Akaberry. The +1 speed won't affect things because we already outspeed it, but we didn't want to stat around not having that because it has Spark, which means it could the odds of it paralyzing us on turn 1 are pretty high. So yeah, if we manage to not be paralyzed turn 1, then we fire off, then it will no longer have an Akaberry to cut the power of our Fire-type move, and we can fire off a Firium Z boosted Inferno Overdrive. Now, best case scenario for this is actually that it goes for Spark, but does not paralyze us. Because if that happens, and if it gets higher than the lowest damage roll, then we will actually wind up in Blaze range. So, let's see, 73 minus 49. 24 gives us a Blaze boost. If that happens, then our second hit should finish it off. Our Inferno Overdrive should be enough to get the killing blow. Now, we will at that point, we would still probably fall to whatever the ally Pokemon throws our way. Especially since... Oh wait, no, we will be dealing with the less annoying of the less offensive of the two ally Pokemon. So depending on what the Charjabug decides to throw our way, if that happens, then we lose. Now, there is no shortage of room for error here. If they get a crit with Spark, that's a... Oh, not Z move. That is an almost guaranteed one-shot. It is 91.6% chance to one-shot if they get a crit with their first Spark. In which case, Litten will have gone down for approximately 12 to 15 points of damage. And this does assume that they have a jolly nature, that they don't have like a plus defense nature, because that impacts things. But I had to plan around speed, so that's what we're rolling with here. Now, if Litten goes down, at that point we switch to the second part of our plan. Which I don't have saved here, so give me a sec. This involves Comfey. Oh, welcome to the stream, Be Marching. We are working on planning out the totem fight. I'm just running through the planning that I've been able to do. So, Comfey, level 29. Oh, that's what I need to check. That is not on the right Pokemon. Now, I haven't invested in Comfey, but I haven't invested any EVs here. But if I do, then I know what they're going to be, most likely. So, we have a Jolly Comfey at level 29, so even without speed investment, we already outpace the Vikavolt. Which actually is less than ideal. Because I was hoping to underspeed it for reasons that you'll see in a moment when I explain my strategy. It centers around those two moves, U-turn and Safeguard. Now, obviously, Vikavolt is doing a good chunk of damage with Spark, which causes us problems. Meanwhile, we have U-turn and Safeguard. But if we max out our HP and defense, and I guess we'll put the remainder in probably special defense for now. It doesn't make a difference. Hold on. I guess we'll put the remainder in attack for a slightly stronger U-turn. I don't even think that affected anything. Yeah, it did not. It's the same damage rolls with that U-turn. Anyway. The basic idea is this. We want to get our Carbink in safely and to not be paralyzed when it comes in. Because Carbink can actually take the attacks from these couple of Pokemon very well. The only thing that we really have to worry about for Carbink is taking repeated paralysis turns. If we can get a couple of turns in before there's any chance of Carbink getting paralyzed, that gives us a nice edge that we can work with. So, that's where Comfey comes in. But I want to see something real quick. What level is Comfey right now? Level 20. So if we wanted Comfey to underspeed this thing, unfortunately we would be stuck with rolling at level 22, which just frankly seems like a bad idea. Even if it is coming in on a completely safe switch, something could go wrong. So I guess we'll give up on the underspeeding part of the plan, which means we might not even need U-turn for this. I was trying to set up a Safeguard and then a slow pivot, but obviously Comfey is too fast to fill the role of slow pivot. But a Safeguard and then a hard switch into Safeguard and then a hard switch into Carbink should let us oh, where are you, Carbink? Don't tell me I didn't save your set either. Safeguard and then a switch into Carbink should get us set up pretty well. Oh. to start chipping away with Rock Tomb. Now, it won't be crazy damaging, but you see here, even if Vikavolt happens to have, say, a plus attack nature, we should be out damaging it with Rock Tomb. And after a couple of Rock Tombs, we will be out speeding. And we have leftovers that'll help us deal with the damage as well. Now, all of that involves some risky stuff. So, the remaining 3 team members are most likely going to be chosen to maximize our chances at making this work, and to give us something to fall back on if we really need to. Notice Vikavolt's moveset. We have normal, electric, and bug-type coverage, along with charge. Now, the most dangerous thing in this is obviously the electric type coverage, but bug and normal type support that pretty well, hitting most of the resistances that we could bring to bear, so it's going to rely heavily on our pivoting strategy. A couple of Pokemon that we have, if we take a look here in the PC, a couple of Pokemon that we have should help supplement our pivoting efforts. We have a couple of ground types, so we've got Chino and we've got Work Shorts. And then we also have means to bait electric type moves in the form of some of our flying types. Specifically, Drawstring is the obvious choice, but then we also have Cutoff and Short Shorts. Now, under the present plan, because I prefer not to risk Drawstring or Cutoff, Short Shorts seems to be the safest option for at least the early pivoting, to see how reliable the AI is going to be. If we can convince them to consistently go for electric type moves against our flying types, then we have a decent chance. Because, sorry, need to check something. At that point, we could waste all of their electric type PP trying to hit our flying types, while presumably keeping our ground type Pokemon safe from chip from their coverage moves. And we saw how well that worked, which is why this is a extreme backup plan. But it's about the best that I was able to come up with. So there are a few different ways, like I said, that we can win this matchup. We can win it with, if we get really lucky with Paralysis, then we can win it with Jorts. If we don't get really lucky with Paralysis, then we can potentially win it with, what's your name? Pajama Shorts. And hiking. And if we get supremely unlucky Then we go into a pivoting strategy to attempt to stall the Totem Vikavolt out of its main damaging options. And in that case, we should have what we need to beat it with Drawstring specifically. Because Drawstring hard walls Vikavolt and the first Charge-a-Bug without that Spark. So if we manage to stall it out of all 20 Spark PP, at that point we're in the clear. That's a lot of ifs, and I'm not hugely fond of that number of ifs, but it does seem reasonable. We have several layers of backups. And we can look at what other options we have to supplement this. So, first things first, let's arrange our team based on who we know is going into the battle. At the moment, I'm leaning toward leaving work shorts and taking short shorts. So at the moment, this is the team that I'm leaning toward, which seems entirely questionable since two of these Pokemon are flying types, which are weak to the totem type of this challenge, but electric type moves are actually a bit on the rare side here. There is one extra concern, which is the thing that I haven't mentioned so far. Welcome to the stream, Cindefe. Yes, we are on attempt 24. We're trying to plan for Totem Vikavolt here. Now, the one thing that I haven't brought up is Charge, which actually scares me a lot. If Vikavolt sets up a few charges, then the next electric type, then its electric type moves will get a hefty boost, which is scary to think about. Oh, jeez, hold up. There we go. Now we can get rid of that, and I get control of the screen without ads bumping me every direction. Now, Charge raises its special defense, meaning it'll be harder to deal with in that sense. But the main issue is that if the user's next move is an electric type move, its power will be doubled. If this thing starts setting up charges, we do have something to worry about in the case of it going for a random electric type move, especially if we happen to be switching in one of our flying types, which is why I'm holding off on the pivoting strategy. If I knew how the AI was going to act here, the pivoting strategy would 100% be the safest approach. But because the AI in these games is particularly bad, it makes it much, much harder to get a reliable strategy going here. We've got to go for what gives us the best options early on, and save that pivoting for down the line. That said, Charge is something to watch out for. It's also one of the reasons that we want to be focusing on physical damage against this thing rather than special. But with these 6 Pokemon, I think we can put together something that will allow us to make this match work. So with that said, let's talk movesets. What do I have in my notes here? So, just putting them in the order that I have them in my notes. So, when it comes to Litten, we want Litten to be carrying Firium Z, as well as both Flame Charge and Fire Fang. That's all checked off, nothing to worry about there. Growl is also nice to have around for some potential stat reduction if we find ourselves in just a really weird situation. Unfortunately, Jorts is probably going to die during this fight. Hiking. We will want to replace Safeguard, or we will want to replace Light Screen with Protect. That's it. And I'm actually going to do that right now. So I really don't want to replace Stealth Rocks, otherwise we're never getting it back. And we want Safeguard on there for refreshing the Safeguard and protecting our team from paralysis continually. As far as Pajama Shorts, we are going to be dropping most of this moveset. Not even exaggerating. In fact, we're literally going to open up the entire list here and see what needs to be swapped in. Your hidden power is like Bug or something, right? Yeah, Bug. Just like Corsola, which is why I keep forgetting both of those. Okay, so as far as Pajama goes, depending on how the thing plays out, we may actually want Protect involved. But for the moment, the critical moves are Safeguard, which we'll go ahead and replace Magical Leaf, because Magical Leaf wasn't really going to do much that Grass Knot can't. And U-Turn. Now, even though U-Turn won't give us a slow pivot because Pajama is just too fast for that, it will give us a tiny bit of extra chip damage, which could help. There's really no guarantee, but it could help. You know, I did just think of another alternative. But it's definitely on the risky side. If we gave Pajama Thief, we could use that to potentially steal the Akaberry in order to set up for a clear shot with Jorts. But even then, no, never mind, because we need to be leading Jorts for the trial Pokemon. Yeah. Unfortunately, most of our best special coverage for this thing, well, we just don't have much in the way of good special coverage for this thing. We got a couple of normal type moves and a couple of grass type moves and hidden power. That's about its limitations, which is why it's relegated to support for this fight. So we'll leave the rest of its moveset as is for now. Chino. You have Mud Sport, which is actually preferable here. We might drop Mud Bomb for something. There's an argument to be made for dropping Mud Bomb for Rest, in all honesty, because having Rest on the moveset would give us the chance to get some recovery in. And we can drop Mud Bomb because ground type moves do not affect... What's his face? Vikavolt. It has the ability Levitate. Sorry, I was just checking hidden power types. Otherwise, I would totally drop it for Bulldoze, but... At the moment, I'm thinking that replacing Mud Bomb with Rest is a smart call. Now, we won't be able to afford a Chesto Berry, but Rest should make it possible for Chino to get set up. It's also worth noting that Chino is still carrying Mud Sport, which could help us get a couple of other strategies working. As far as Drawstring and Short, those two are strictly only on the team for pivoting, with the potential exception of if we wind up stalling Vikavolt out of all 20 of its Spark PP, in which case Drawstring could actually clean up. So their movesets really don't matter. We've already got Roost in Short's moveset. And that's about all we can really worry about. So, all that said, I think we've got their movesets as we want them. Let's talk about held items now. Short, as weird as it is to say this, you get leftovers. Strictly because it's the best option, especially since it can't be bug bitten away. You get a oh wait, no, you we actually want a Violite on. Pajama, on the other hand, we're going to give Pajama a Cherry Berry. So if we ever need to reset up Safeguard, if we need to switch Pajama back in to make that happen, then a Cherry Berry can protect him from any potential paralysis issues. Okay, let's open up the box here. Grab the Violite. I believe you are carrying the Violite. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take a second, save the game. I'm just gonna make sure everyone's EVs are organized as they should be. Just in the party. Huh. Right. You're good. You're good. You need max HP and max defense. And we'll drop the remainder into attack because you're potentially going to use U-turn. You. So as far as Chino Shorts goes, we're going to reallocate I'm going to reallocate some of the speed investment. into defense investment. Same with all of the special attacks. So that gives us 26 points to put in there. It's worth noting that since EVs only work in sets of 4, that there's always 2 EVs at least that go completely to waste. That are doing nothing because they're just beyond the set of 4 point. We'll scale back drawstring speed as well. Looks like 160 EVs should do the trick. Yeah, heck, I'll handle their leveling in here as well. So that frees up some extra defense investment. Like 124 speed EVs will be enough for Fletchling. Which leaves a decent amount to be invested in special or in physical defense. 134. Okay, I think that is everyone. So now we load in the fresh save info and restart. Alright, let's take a look at the teams. So, all of the speedy ones should have at least 62 speed. Yep, so Litton's good. Hey, did I not? I didn't bother leveling up Comfey. However, Comfey is showing higher defense than special defense, which means that we definitely saved it properly. 62 speed, 62 speed, 62 speed. So I think the only thing that we need to do real quick is level up Hiking and Pajama. Natural Gift. Remind me what that does. It's a physical move that uses the berry. Don't we... Is that a TM in this generation? No, it doesn't look like it. You know what? We will learn it just because we're going to have better setup moves for Comfey fairly soon. And Natural Gift might actually be decent to have around. Petal Blizzard, though, no thanks. Synthesis. There we go. That's something useful. I was thinking about keeping Wrap around, but no, we're going to take Synthesis in its place. Alright, I think this should be good to go. Let's take a look at items. Yep, we've given out leftovers to the ones that are used for bulkiness or pivoting. We've given the Cherry Berry to Pajama, the Eviolite to Chino. Did we actually teach Chino Rest? I need to double check that. Yes. Okay, we've got Rest, Mud Sport. We should probably put Protect on Short Shorts. So the thing about Protect... is that it will let us stall even when we can't really be sure what move they're going to use. So if we wind up using pivot stalling strats, we're going to do so with short first as our flying type, because I'd really like to keep Drawstring alive. With that, I feel like we've covered everything that we can in preparation for this. We've got multiple layers of strategy. It should do all right. Real quick, I want to check something. Natural Gift, Bulbapedia. Oh, this is interesting. Cherry Berry gives a fire type natural gift. Okay, so if we manage to avoid any paralysis, we can also throw that Cherry Berry out there just for pure damage. That's really nice. I honestly would have expected it to be electric. Okay, folks. Is everyone at level 29? Yes. Everyone's carrying the correct held items. Yes. I think we're good to go. drop one more save just to be sure that we have everything together. Now, of course, I wasn't able to take into account every single possible move set, or every single possible nature on this thing. I focused pretty much exclusively on what to me seemed like the most threatening situation, which was if it had more speed than I was expecting. Anyway, it's time. Right here. And I will pull up the cheat sheet on the audio quiz, especially since we're playing with sound off. Exciting gameplay. Sound view here, the first one is obviously a Pokemon Center. Keep this nice and simple. Fire type Z moves to one-shot all of the trial Pokemon. Next answer is the Rotom Dex. Right there, little Charge-a-Bug. I honestly really like Grubbin's line overall. They're very cute. I have never walked this road that it's showing. I have walked far enough down. Okay, the next one is Charge-a-Bug. Oh. I'm sorry, it keeps taking too long to pull up the list of options, so I think I have to press A again. Charge-a-Bug. Yeah, there's no other penalty for getting it wrong other than the door giving him a shock. Anyway. The only interaction I've had with that entire road that it keeps showing the totem Pokemon coming up along is that it's, it's where I attempted to catch Minior. I walked far enough back along it to find a grass patch, but that's it. Even in the last playthrough where we made it this far, we never checked anything else because, honestly, there's really nothing that I need on that route. You'd think if they were trying to attract a massive Pokemon, they would set up the machine outside. And just like that, we're already well past the point where we can do anything different, so it's time to face Totem Vikavolt. Jorts, you're up, and if this happens to be your last battle, then it was good knowing you. Flame Charge first. It's a guaranteed hit, and it deals with the Aka Berry. Now, if it sparks us and we don't get paralyzed, then Jorts lives this turn. Jorts lives one turn. Which means that Jorts should be able, especially since we are in Overgrow, or in Blaze range, to finish it off with Inferno Overdrive. Here's hoping I did my calcs right. Okay, now we'll see what that Charge-a-Bug does. Use Thunder Wave. Jorts lives. Jorts lives. Alright, Jorts. Return. Safeguard. Natural Gift for a nice fire type move. It won't be a ton of damage, but yeah, good chunk. Hiking, you're up. Rock Tomb. Finish it off, Hiking. Hiking is carrying a held item called Leftovers. Several of our Pokemon are actually carrying it because we can get an unlimited supply of Leftovers from Munchlax back on Route 1. It restores 1/16 of their hit points every turn, rounded down. get the Electrium Z, and I believe the Steelium Z as well. So yeah, it's a very good item for bulky Pokemon that are expected to be in battle for several turns to have. Especially since we can pair it with moves like Protect, because Protect lets us stall a turn to regain a little extra. So if we get a turn of recovery and then Protect for a turn, we can get effectively 2 turns of recovery. Alright, we somehow made it through that without having to let Jorts go down. I really didn't think we would get through that deathless. Okay. Now, let's look ahead. So our next stop is back in Mali City, I believe. We have to go and visit the professor in the Mali Gardens in order to give him I guess technically it's not in Mali City, it's in Mali Garden, but anyway. We have to stop there in order to give him the mask that we just got back before we head on to our next stage. And while we're there, we're going to have to take on Guzma, the Team Skull boss. Now, the nice thing is that I think we actually have a way of dealing with Guzma completely safely. Or at least dealing with his very imposing Goliathopod. Booty Shorts here has the ability Water Absorb. And after its first turn, the only move that Goliathopod can use is a Water-type move. So as long as we come prepared to deal with the Ariados he has in the back, we should be good. And we have a decent number of options for trying to deal with that Ariados. The most obvious being Cutoff here, with presumably an Eviolite. But we should definitely bring on some backups, just to be safe. Who else do we want on the team for this? Because the Ariados is actually the only threat at this point. As long as whatever takes it out has Protect, we don't really have to worry there. You know what? Mewkyu should actually be pretty good into the Ariados because it has counter. Huh. According to the trainer document, Guzma's Golisopod doesn't actually have any EV investment, which is weird. I mean, it shouldn't matter. Because again, we have exactly one strategy for it, and that is Poliwag cannot take damage from it. So yeah, the Ariados is the real issue. And for the Ariados, I'm thinking we keep Jorts around, because Jorts could potentially come in and deal some hefty damage. With a Fire Z move, we've got a couple of flying types here that can each do some good damage. We should even be able to put U-turn on cutoff to allow for some pivoting. Yeah, these 6 should have no trouble dealing with Guzma. Let's see. U-turn on cutoff in place of Brick Break. I am at the moment just looking for options to teach our little tadpole right there. What's its hidden power type? Let's see real quick. Booty Shorts. Hidden power bug. We could use it. There are probably better options. Oh, and we will definitely teach Booty Shorts Protect. In place of Double Slap, I think. Oh, and you can learn Psychic. That should do pretty well. We'll drop Rain Dance for it, because I'd kind of like to keep Body Slam around as well. Real quick, what's Golisopod's stat distribution? Really high physical defense. Actually higher than its attack, which is already high. So Psychic should be a really good option there. Oh, that's good to know. We have Roost as a TM. Roost as a TM means that we can deal with, or we can drop Roost from movesets if we need to. Yeah, that moveset should be fine. Let's just get the rare candies out, get everyone up to level 29. Unfortunately, that means that we have to deal with a couple of our team members trying to evolve to be too tall. Including Booty Shorts, who is our main team member for this stage. For this next battle, anyway. Gastro Acid, that could actually be really useful. I'm going to go ahead and drop Rest for it. And we are going to drop a quick save here so that we can adjust the EVs on Booty Shorts. Anyone else in the party that we need to, but mainly just Booty Shorts. So, Booty Shorts, you are going to have, weirdly enough for where you fit on this team, you are going to have maximum attack and special attack investment. And I guess some speed, because why not? Okay. Luckily, Guzma doesn't require nearly as much planning as those last two because we have a Pokemon with Water Absorb. Without that, his Golisopod is extremely threatening, and we would really need to find a way to reliably deal with it before it could get any boosts. But with it, we are just doing all the weird stuff with this thing. We are giving it a metronome. Wait, did I never pick up the metro? I didn't. Hold up a sec. Hang on, I gotta check something. Hano Grand Resort. Veteran Roger with his Trumbeak. Hold up. Oh, who will I use to deal with that Trumbeak? Let's see. You and you. And you. And then we'll keep a couple of Pokemon in the back of the party for if we need to clean up. Or if we need a sack. Well, in that case. You know what? Actually, this is the easiest way to deal with it, especially since Swim has not fully leveled. Charizard, we need a lift. Hano Grand Resort. So this guy gives me the metronome. I have to beat him in a battle first, but I can manage that, I think. I probably should have taken a... whatchamacallit? A Personberry, but... you know, whatever. Give the metronome. Oh, wait, I can't. Funnily enough, you cannot toggle from one map to another without using the touchpad. Maybe you can do it with the right and left triggers. I've never actually tried. That would actually make sense. Okay, anyway, back to our intended team setup. And now we just fly back to town. Everyone is at level 29, I believe. Yep. So now... sorry, being paranoid. And Short not having a held item is deliberate. We might need Short to use acrobatics on the... what's it called? The Ariados. We already have Protect in Short's move pool as well. Yeah, okay. So now we need to mash through some exposition. Tiny Tim and his Poliwag. See, that should really give Guzma a heads up. As to what my strategy is. But of course, he couldn't know that I was going to... that I knew that he was going to come here. Okay, so our first order of business is just to spam Body Slam until he's paralyzed. There's an argument to be made for going for... yeah, you know what? We'll go for Scald instead. Get that burn chip. The chip might even bring him down below half, in which case Wimp Out, its ability, won't activate. And we can just deal with it in one. we go. Throw up a quick protect, let the chip bring it below half. So the reason, real quick, while we're here, the reason Golisopod is so abusable is because of its moveset. See, First Impression is a powerful move. 90 base power, 100% accuracy. But, like one other move that comes to mind, Fake Out, it can only be used the first turn the Pokemon is in battle. So the only time he had the chance to use First Impression, I just used Protect. The remainder of his moveset consists of a non-damaging move and a Water-type move. And since I have the ability Water Absorb, I am completely immune to the remainder of this thing's moveset. In fact, I'll go for the double protect, because it looks like my damage gauging was off. But it doesn't matter, because he literally can't hit me. Wait. Burn brings it under... Burn activates emergency exit? Huh, I was wrong there, apparently. Okay, we'll start by using protect, just to scout what it might be going for. Looks like it wants to use Fell Stinger. We'll pivot in Drawstring. Drawstring quad resist, so shouldn't take that much. Oh. You know, I just realized that we are still on the intense video. The intense music playlist instead of the chill music. And now it's probably going to go for Sucker Punch, because that's its most damaging option to me. Either way, it really shouldn't be going for any of its Bug-type moves, which means that Cutoff should be completely free to switch in on whatever it's using. That's 2 Sucker Punches down. And we're going to go for Growl to keep stalling out Sucker Punch. 3, 4. And this should be Sucker Punch number 5. We do have to deal with Infestation, but actually, even if we were worried about that, we could just use U-turn to pivot out. Luckily, Infestation really isn't an issue for Cutoff at the moment, especially because Cutoff has reliable recovery in Roost. Though we don't necessarily want to Roost. On that first turn. Does Cutoff have Protect? I can't remember. No. So, we are technically at risk to First Impression here. It's burned, so we should be pretty easily able to take even a Razor Shell, which it went for. And now Booty Shorts is completely free to come in and finish this up. We'll just start firing off some Psychics. Should actually do a decent chunk of damage each time. well, semi-decent. I mean, we are a tadpole fighting a Pokemon whose name is inspired by the word Goliath. Congrats, Booty Shorts. You just took on a Goliath. And as your reward, you get to stay at a nice short height forever. Alright, we're through there. We get to make some more progress. Got a couple of new encounters, those things. So, as far as our next couple of encounters, I need to look ahead a little bit. Oh my, I was... Sorry, just to take a moment, I was not entirely confident that we would actually clear those last two battles. Despite all of the effort, I couldn't find a way to make it guaranteed, and less than guaranteed really hasn't been working out for us lately. So, yeah. Anyway, let's put together a more of our standard team structure. You know what? We'll even bring lounge shorts along for the ride. Oh my, this is not a balanced team. This is just... Every time we go into a new area or a new thing, or I look at this setup, I'm reminded that our team is not statted for the challenges. Our team is heavily clustered on certain types. Real quick, I gotta take care of something with pleated here. You may be asking yourself, why do I have pleated on the team? Well, the fact of the matter is, I am hoping to draw on the pseudoscience that I've been using for ages now in order to bait the game into giving us Torkoal on the next route. Because now that we are back here, the next stage is to head south through Route 11. probably just avoid all of the trainers. Grab a TM on the way. TM74, is that Taunt? No, that's Gyro Ball. Zipper, what? What held item would suit you? Silver powder seems like a natural choice. Nah, we're gonna go with the citrus berry. You have better options for paralysis now than 75% accurate stun spore, so go ahead and take a roost. We could easily replace that with something like U-turn for pivoting or psychic for extra coverage. There are options. And we will break out the rare candies for the couple other teammates we have that are not up to level quite yet. Bug Buzz, no, we're going to hang on to Pollen Puff. I'm sticking with the choice that I made last time because it should make a pretty minimal difference, but there might be a tough double battle up ahead that I don't know about that it could actually be nice to have Pollen Puff on. Okay, so if we take a look through Route 11, most of it's pretty manageable. The only really worrying trainer there is the guy with a belly drumming Hariyama. No, that's not the game lagging or anything. That is actually me just pausing every few steps to make sure I don't run wildly over my mark. I don't know why I'm checking this. There was only one good item on this route, and I picked it up there. It was the TM for Gyro Ball. So, we are on to Route 12. Let me just double check. There might be like a Team Skull fight or something. No, it doesn't look like it. Plenty of people that I don't want to have to deal with and that we will do our best to avoid, but no Team Skull. Just a new option for the ride pager. you? Okay, you are not a trainer. You are a trainer, but you're that weird trainer that you have to beat everyone else on the route before I get to fight you. Okay, so you're the guy who has TM77, which is Psycha. That's not a huge deal. We can afford pretty easily to forgo that for a while. Lonsdale, come along. Okay, now I'm going to save real quick, because I want to double check and make sure this isn't like time specific or anything. Time or location specific. Okay, so that's this area, and the vast majority of the rest of the route besides. It's 40% Geodude, 20% Torkoal, 10% Elekid. 30% doesn't affect us. And there is a random area farther down that they have a slightly different level arrangement for some reason. Slightly lower level for no apparent reason. Well then. Really shouldn't make a difference. So minimum level, it would be those moves, and maximum level, it would be those moves. And that's the same in both, so it doesn't really matter. You've made it past Gordy. I'm sure that was terribly difficult. I've never played Pokemon Sword, but from what I understand, his team is the most unimpressive of the entire run. Dang it! I was really hoping for Torkoal on this route again. Alright, let's check what this thing's moves are. G-Max Colossal. Yeah. That is fair. So it's carrying self-destruct. So there is a chance that it uses it. Which is really annoying. It shouldn't, because I'm immune to it, but, you know, AI. We're just gonna go for a quick ball. That's the big trouble. If this thing... You know what? I'm going to shut up until it's caught. Okay. The trouble with this thing is that if I encounter it on this route and it explodes, and then I encounter it on the next route as well, then it would not be a dupe. Okay, so you got messed with some body slam paralysis. Well, let's see. What type of shorts is this guy? You know what? This guy can be denim. He looks like a denim. Oh, fun. That's just a very nice scenario. Which Pokemon has paralysis, by the way? Is it Stonejourner? Denim, what's your deal? Magnapole, dang it. That's twice in a row that the Geodude we've picked up has had Magnapole and not Sturdy. Which is annoying because it's pretty much useless in game. Oh no. Speed tie after paralysis, obviously, but... yeah, that's a fun scenario. Minus attack plus speed. This is just a really, really garbage Geodude, but you know what? I'll accept it. I should really stop going with the speed boost while I'm trying to dodge trainers. And there we go. Rising Star Matthew. There's a Cranidos. With those moves. It doesn't have any rock type moves, but it does have some normal and dark coverage. Makes hiking pretty ideal to deal with it. Oh, and it has Mold Breaker so that it was actually able to affect me with Scary Face. For a second there I was like, how? Okay, that should be a 3 KO. I can't actually remember. When do you get access to the TM for, or the TR? Is Substitute a TM in Sword and Shield, or is it a TR? So I'm thinking that probably would have been your best bet to make the fight cleaner during Rillaboom's setup. I realize this fight is over and this advice is kind of meaningless, and I haven't heard the full story, so maybe you did something with regard to that, but if it's a TR, it might have been painfully slow to get it to turn up. Oh my gosh, why do I keep running into fights that I can easily avoid? Pleated shorts, actually, you don't have any grass coverage, so swim shorts, you're up. Okay, it's burned. It'll go down at the end of the turn. Yeah, getting it to turn up might have been more painful than it would have been worth. But Substitute definitely would have been worth considering to protect you from random paralysis, especially since it's a pretty high chance on Body Slam. Okay, we're gonna follow this guy around the back, just because I want to see what's back here, but I don't want to get into a random battle with a guy with a Porygon and a Magneton, especially with how badly we match up into Magneton. Okay, well, we're up to Blush Mountain. We did not get Torkoal in our last area. I just want to double check. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a day or night difference. There are 2 patches of grass that are both listed here, but I think are identical in every other conceivable way. Weird. Okay. So, let's look at the possible encounters. Elekid is 2 feet tall, so it's legal. Togedemaru is 1 foot tall, it's legal. Torkoal is 1 foot 8, it's legal. We already have Charjabug, Turtonator, Mudbray are too tall. We already have Geodude. Yeah, it makes no difference where we get our encounter. Rillaboom won the speed tie. Nice. Did you need the full +6 to KO the... Oh, who am I leading right now? Did you need the full +6 to one-shot the Colossal? Without Dynamax, yes. Welcome to the stream, Mirage. Okay, we got a Torkoal. It's not Drought, but it's still a Torkoal. So we can work with that. Hiking. I'll leave it to you to wear down this Torkoal. Yeah, welcome to the stream, Mirage. We are doing a height lock of Pokemon Sun. It's my own little hardcore Nuzlocke where we don't use Pokemon over 2 feet tall. We are on attempt 24. Only 3 of those have actually gone past Ilima, though, so that is worth noticing. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never played through these games before. Strictly because I was so put off by the anime in this generation. I really didn't like what they were doing with it. Dang it, paralysis. But at the same time, I knew that eventually I would need to Nuzlocke them, especially since they are the hardest games to Nuzlocke. So here we are. Dusk Ball should do pretty well. We're at night. Nice. Okay. We got our Torkoal, who gets to be named Cargo Shorts. And let's see your summary, Cargo Shorts. Minus defense is annoying, but plus special defense makes it a little more generally bulky. We already knew that it had white smoke as opposed to drought. And at least it's not like adamant nature or something. Well, obviously best nature would be minus speed, since Torkoal is too slow for speed to matter in most cases anyway. Should we add you to the party? You know what? Yes, we'll drop pleaded for now. Okay, we got that. There's a TM in here, I believe. We're almost up to the point that we last got... Okay, it has to be during the day to get TM63, which is embargo. And since I'm pretty sure the only held items that we tend to run into are Z crystals, and I'm pretty sure Z crystals bypass embargo, I don't think there's much point there. Ah, but there is a timer ball in front of the truck, so that's nice. Oh, hey, is this one of those locations where we can... Yes, we can take pictures of Pokemon. I have never bothered to do this other than the tutorial and that one, and the ghost type trial where we died last time. Well, anyway, we're not actually going to bother doing that, I just wanted to see it. Now, we're going to go ahead and fly back to town to heal up before we go on. I do want to double check. So we have access to Ula Ula... No, not to Ula Ula Beach, to Secluded Shore. But I don't think we can get an encounter in Secluded Shore. Yeah, it looks like all of our encounters that would have been there are already cleared. The only thing that's new there is that we can get apricot berries from the tree. Alright. Now I should give fair warning to everyone here, especially if you're planning to hang out in intense anticipation. I have absolutely no intention of attempting the ghost trial tonight. Because once we get to that point, I want to run calcs, and if we get to that point on stream, then I'll run some calcs on stream and give myself time between now and tomorrow to get that done. And if we don't get around to running calcs on stream, then, well, obviously I'm going to have other things to think about. Oh, why do I keep opening the ride Pokemon menu? Zipper, go there, and cargo here. Have a leftovers. We don't have much reason to visit Secluded Shore. We could go there for key berries, but I don't know if we will. Truth be told, I'm not really sure whether I would have preferred Torkoal or Togedemaru for the encounter there once it became even odds. Torkoal is generally better stats-wise, especially since we have very few legal fire-type encounters. But at the same time, Togedemaru matches up reasonably well into Totem Mimikyu, which would have been helpful because obviously that's where we died last time. Yeah, we gotta go this way. Imagine, just real quick, like, okay, in 2D style, I could understand the scenario where they represented some sort of tangled plant-based obstruction with a little tree. But why can't my character just walk on this? Like, what is accomplished? Especially since they don't introduce this terrain, as far as I can recall, until they give us the ride Pokemon that we use to access it. Okay, yes, we'll skim through some lore real quick. And here's the abandoned Pokemon that has its own motel room. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure that we can backtrack now that we've fought Guzma. Or Guzma, or whatever his name is. I'm pretty sure we can backtrack to get a TM in a previous hotel. Okay, yeah, so I don't think we have any legal encounters here. Nope. We can get a TM. Doesn't look like there are any trainers here either, so. What a pointless route. Imagine not putting any short Pokemon on this route except Wishy-Washy, which is just everywhere. Taunt. There we go. Okay, so up north here we can't go until we've cleared the next trial. At which point we will finally be able to get a hold of a cast form at least, that's nice. And on to Tapu Village, where we actually do have a legal encounter. We have close to no control over... Oh yeah, we have no control over what it is. It's Vulpix. Snorunt is too tall, as are all the others, two of which we already had a Pokemon in their species anyway. So, yeah, we get to add another fairy type that we can't evolve. Okay, we've got a good supply of Ultra Balls, Super Potions. Let's get some Max Repels. And what else do we need to pick up here? Sadly, it's only in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that we can get choice specs here. It doesn't look like there are any other significant items. Why did I even change the order? Zipper is going to be the best option for getting... Okay, so we have access to Route 14. I can't remember if there's actually anything... Oh, wait, yes, I do remember. Route 14. So, yeah, we're just gonna get our Vulpix when it shows up. It's going to give us an Absol before it gives us a Vulpix, isn't it? Yep, it did. Come on, I just want my little ice fox that I'm probably never going to use. Oh, Murphy, why do you hate me? Finally. Just be good here and get into the quick ball. Like, seriously. Why did it have to take that long to show up? It's not even a good encounter. Do I already have a wool shorts on in the thing? Pleated, hiking, zipper, gym, lounge, slip, scalloped, print, work, capri, chino, boy, knickerbocker, cotton, half, boxer, checkered, smelly, pajama, suspender, booty, cutoff, short, jorts, Bermuda, and drawstring. I do not yet have a wool shorts. Wool shorts, welcome to the party. What's your deal? Snow cloak plus attack nature, well that sucks. Alright, do we have an encounter on Route 14 that we want to get? I don't think we do. I think the only thing on Route 14 that matters to us is the TM for Shadow Ball. Yeah. Nothing to bother with on Route 14. Okay, what about Route 15? Just the Wild Charge and a Skull admin battle. Yeah, no encounters. Looks like there's also a Skull Grunt that shouldn't be too much trouble. It'd be nice if we had a Dark type teammate. Oh. Dang, this skull admin isn't messing around, actually. She's got a level 35 Pokemon. Do we? Hold up, I want to check this. Lola, Route 15. On Bulbapedia. Okay, so she doesn't show up until after Acerola's trial. And I'm guessing we can't get farther along Route 15 until after Acerola's trial. And it doesn't look like there are any encounters. I'm pretty sure I already said and checked that, but memory, what you gonna do? Alright, so who are we going to use to deal with the Team Skull Thug? Actually, Zipper's a pretty good matchup into Drowsy. Oh, I forgot there were these kids in Ether House. Pollen Puff. Wow! Survived that? I really didn't see that coming. Yeah, I don't think there's anything to actually do here. Because we don't have that guy who gifts us Porygon until the post game. Hi there. How am I not one-shotting these guys? I mean, he's level 33, but still. Is my Ribombee uninvested? Hold up, have I just never EV trained this thing? Could have sworn I had. It's not fully invested, huh? Okay, I guess I've never fully managed that. I should fix that. Real quick. There's an ace trainer there that I could battle to get farther along, but honestly, I don't think it matters. Alright. Let's go clear up to the trial site. I think there might be some swimmers to watch out for. Yep, I see one right there. Sadly, I don't know if there's anyone good on our team that can actually use Shadow Ball. Oh, finally I got rid of that new ride Pokemon notification that plagues me so. Obviously, we are not going into this beforehand. Let's see, let's make sure there aren't any surprise battles that I'm forgetting about. No. Dang it, I was hoping that I would get a flying option for here if I made my way all the way over here. Okay, so, like I said, we're not doing that trial tonight. I'm really not interested in going into it as unprepared as I did last time. I want to do a good bit of planning and prep before then. So, we're going to take a minute, look through some possibilities, we'll do a bit of brainstorming, and then we'll call it for the night. If you don't really care to see the brainstorming section, feel free to hop off. I won't be offended. So, let's take a look at this trial. Dang, I was hoping that zooming in wouldn't mess with the ads. They would just get pushed off, but nope. Oh well. Okay, so taking a look at the trial, there are actually a couple of stages to this, because this Gengar is very threatening. Like, unironically, an absolute terror. Now, we can deal with it with just about any normal type that has coverage, since all it can do to normal types is hypnosis. But if we were to start taking hits from it, that would be pretty frightening. The Haunter and the Ghastly are similarly pretty scary, but can be dealt with. And thankfully, this time around, we actually have a decent normal type. One that can carry ghost type coverage, as I recall. So Komala is already a strong contender for this matchup. Especially if we fully invest in, say, attack and defense. Should be able to take Mimikyu's moves pretty well, and deal with it should be able to take Mimikyu's moves pretty well and hit back pretty hard. Now that said, it's not like this is a cakewalk by any means. That Mimikyu is still pretty frightening. I kind of anticipate sacrificing a couple of Pokemon to get nerfs on the Mimikyu. Because let's talk through what makes this Mimikyu so much of a problem. Okay, first things first, its aura. Like all Totem Pokemon, it's packing a potent aura. In this case, like the previous one, the Totem Vikavolt, it is packing what is commonly referred to as an Omni Boost, +1 to all its stats, which is just thoroughly terrifying. Mimikyu is already a decently strong Pokemon. If we take a look at its base stats, it comes packing high speed, higher special defense, high attack, decent defense. Its only letdowns are HP and special attack. And with those boosts, its speed and its attack are pretty much impossible for us to match. Like, oh, you gotta head out? Thanks for stopping by, Lastborn. Have a good one. Yeah, its speed and attack are absolutely terrifying with those boosts, and its defense and special defense, which are normally hampered by that HP stat, get pushed up to really impressive levels as soon as it gets those boosts. Then, on top of all of that, it has counterplay to the two obvious workarounds for the scenario. What are those obvious workarounds? Well, the first one is just go in there fully, go in there, guns locked, and just give it everything we've got. Hit it hard, hit it hard with moves from Pokemon that can take a hit from it, sack something to get something else in, and repeat. The trouble with that strategy is between its defensive boosts and its disguise ability, that becomes nearly impossible. We're not going to be able to KO this thing any faster than 3 turns. That is the absolute fastest that I could see us pulling this off, and that's not even good. And that's with everything going well, which I'm not confident in. And then the other basic strategy for dealing with an opponent that's largely overwhelming is status. Unfortunately, it's carrying a Lumberry, and it has the ability Disguise. I'm trying to double check if Disguise protects it from status. I think it does, but I can't seem to find if that is represented here. Maybe it doesn't. Let's see. Oh, go away, ad. Mimikyu faints, it is revived. Blah, blah, blah. Entry hazards or weather damage. Multi-hit. See, I know that it, doesn't block additional effects. I just don't know if it blocks straight up status moves. It looks like it doesn't. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't. So normally status would be an effective way to deal with that, except it's packing this Lumberry, which means that we would have to status it twice, once to remove the Lumberry, and once to deal with the Mimikyu itself. Now with that said, I actually have a bit of a baseline idea with some tools that I've been holding on to this entire run. Let me remind y'all about our favorite little bug, Suspender. 2 things in Suspender's moveset are potentially very helpful into Totem Mimikyu. The first one being Bug Bite, and the second being String Shot. Now, that said, Bug Bite isn't entirely required. It could be replaced with someone with Thief. It's just then that Pokemon would have to not have a held item of its own. Which is a strategy that we could still employ, especially if we happen to decide to lead with the other important move here, String Shot. See, a lot of our issues with Mimikyu actually get dealt with if we can outspeed it. So that's a big goal of how I hope to handle this thing. I'd like to hit it with some form of speed control and some form of status. While it's hypothetically possible to do both in one, it would still take multiple turns to pull that off. Now, we have some good options for going into this, but we do need to remember how dangerous the ally Pokemon are, especially because they can throw around Hypnosis, which in this generation is 60% accuracy. And if we get hit by Hypnosis, we're effectively nerfed. That is actually part of the reason that Komala is such a useful Pokemon into this matchup. Because just as a reminder, Komala has the ability Comatose. We look at Comatose, it is always drowsing and will never wake up. It can attack without waking up. Basically, Comatose makes it act like it's been put to sleep. But it can still move. So that means not only can it not be hit by status, which might very easily confuse these Totem Pokemon a lot, but it could also be whatchamacallit. It can also safely avoid being hypnotized, which makes it one of our safest options into this fight, especially since it is immune to ghost-type moves. Now that said, part of the trick is going to be getting Komala into a situation where it can work its magic. Because it has a lot of crap that it has to try and make work. Mainly the fact that its physical defense is its lower defensive stat, and it's not especially fast. Couple that with the fact that Mimikyu hits so hard, and we have a tricky scenario where we need to find a way. Our best bet here is going to be getting Komala in safely at a time when it can just fire off a couple of Shadow Claws, ideally for the KO. That sounds so much simpler than it actually is. Luckily, I have a couple other things in mind. Notice I've been hanging on to some normal types throughout the game that are carrying the move Baby Doll Eyes. I believe that if we take, for example, Gym Shorts or Print Shorts into the Totem Mimikyu fight, we should have a pretty good chance of nerfing its attack by sacrificing them. So, with this in mind, I hope you can see why I'm planning to run some calcs here, because we're going to want to see, first of all, how much damage our Komala can take from Totem Mimikyu. And second of all, who we can use to safely set up and how much damage they can take. Because this is a tricky scenario. I'm hopeful that, much like the last attempt, we can make some use of Torkoal in this fight because it's really good. It has really good physical defense, which gives it a good matchup into here. We might also use Hiking for some setup, especially later in the match when we might need to get a couple of Pokemon in without them getting statused. So it's a lot that we need to juggle. I don't feel comfortable diving in without running Calcs because that's what got us killed back on attempt 11. And I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure that I'm prepared to start this run over again. We have run through this early portion of the game so many times. And there's a lot of luck involved. Every time we make actual progress, it's because we had several attempts where we made no progress, and because we've gotten lucky with some stuff. But I just really don't want to deal with that. So we're going to beat this attempt. I am very determined to make that happen. Whatever it takes. So, for now, we're calling it for the night. It's already been a good while. We've made a lot of good progress. We've made a lot of good progress. We have some good new teammates that we should be able to rely on to help us through some of these challenges, and we've got some less than good new teammates that we will probably never use. Look, I'm sorry, Wool Shorts and Denim, but you're just not that good. Denim, you could have been useful if you had Sturdy, but I'm sorry. Hey, we've already used several Pokemon that I never expected to use. We have had Short play a part in multiple battles, and I expected Short to die long ago. Yeah, no, the only objectively useless Pokemon we have is in fact half Shorts. In the meantime, I'm gonna do some planning, try and figure some stuff out, and we'll be back at this tomorrow. Ready to take, and if we're ready to take on the Totem Mimikyu, then we will dive right into that. And if I still need to do Calcs, who knows? We might do another game tomorrow. In the meantime, thanks everyone for hanging out. I know there's been a lot of strategy and chatting on this stream, but this is a big part of what goes into Nuzlocke, and I'm trying not to mess this up. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I'll check and see if we've got anyone to raid, but like always, I kinda doubt it. Yeah, this is what happens when I stream late at night, close to the West Coast. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate y'all chatting, and if you haven't, drop a follow. Love to see you again. I hope to see you next time. Later, folks.